Okay.
Okay, it's over now.
That was two enemies. I'll be honest, I really enjoy Arkane games. Dishonored 1 and 2 are super fun, Prey is amazing, and Deathloop was also really good. Basically what I'm saying is that Arkane, they make some pretty good games. And so, Redfall is announced. A new, ambitious project and one that was being pushed hard by Microsoft and Bethesda. It was often cited as one of the reasons to purchase Game Pass. This was going to be the first release of Arkane Studios under the Microsoft umbrella. I was really excited, to be honest. And frankly, I'm just going to say it. I really applaud Microsoft for using this game to push Game Pass. Truly, I think it's awesome that this game became so readily available for anyone with Game Pass, because this game is terrible. I am so glad this game is on Game Pass, because if I had to pay full price for this, I would have been so upset, because this is just it's not good. It's not fun. This review is going to kind of deviate from my normal format, and I'm just going to kind of go into why this game sucks, and then with the score and stuff at the end. So, you know, no separate sections or whatever. Right off the bat, this game opens very strong. You open the game, you enter Redfall, you're really excited, and then you're greeted with the Bethesda account login. Wait, what? Oh, I have to do this. Oh my god. All right. Listen, not the best start, but it could get better. So you get a character select screen, pick your character, and then you're off to explore the world of Redfall. All right, now listen. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. A big thing about Arkane games is that they have a very unique style. Prey, Deathloop, and Dishonored are all very unique in their presentation and styling, but artistically similar enough to where you know it's an Arkane game. Redfall is able to articulate the artistry that lets you know it's an Arkane game, but it completely falls flat with the unique styling and presentation. From the get-go, you're shown a cutscene that kinda sucks. It's moving concept art, and while that isn't inherently bad, it's the fact that it's one of two types of cutscenes. The other is just the in-game models frozen in time with a voiceover and a weird blue filter. I don't really know why they made a decision like this, but it was just boring to watch. And it's weird because like they've done normal in-game cutscenes before in the past, and in this game, like at the start of the game, your character wakes up and there's a vampire in their face, and you're like, oh, okay, this is where the plot happens. Nope, not really. Basically, that's like the only instance of that cutscene happening. The rest of the cutscenes are either the concept art stuff or the blue filter stuff. It's a little weird, didn't really make sense. I just don't really understand it. The game just, there's no style, there's no pizzazz at all. I would rather just watch that sequence of Spider-Man 3 where Peter's kind of doofing around in that black suit repeatedly. I don't care how cringe it is, at least there was style, at least it was unique. Atomic Heart, while it wasn't a great game, had a unique style. It was interesting to see. Here, they just kind of got lazy. It feels like there was no love put into the world. It's just like a basic zombie survival whatever town, and you're just like, okay, is there more to it? Nah, that's it. This is what you get. It's amazing, right? It's like, I mean, it's like kinda, I guess, but I'd like more, you know? The world is just boring, man. Like, there's nothing cool about it here. Let me give you an example. This game is like toast. If you're allergic to toast, I don't know, cardboard, whatever. Some toast is delicious, whether it's toasted, buttered, Nutella, you got options. This game said, you know what? I think we're gonna go for normal, white bread, non-toasted kind of deal. Generic zombie vampire survival. Just bleh. Like, sure, it'll satisfy your hunger for a piece of toast, but it's just not very enjoyable, to be honest. Also, the world is just empty. Like, literally empty. They have very few enemies on the map as you go from one objective to another, which, like, okay, if the world is not very interesting to look at or be in, at least let me fight some enemies, right? Nope, not here, just running from one end of the map to the other with nothing in between. They do have files and stuff you can pick up and read, but honestly, after like the 5th note of someone saying, oh, come save us, we're gonna die, this is the last hope, I just kind of got bored and didn't really care for it, to be honest. The writing for all the side characters and main characters as well just didn't have anything compelling either. They're all just stand-ins and have no interaction for when you speak to them, like just canned generic lines like, Your main character also talks a lot, and like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just kind of got annoyed because she was talking at nobody and she was just like, well, that just happened. It's like, all right, dude, like we get it. After the 5th joke, you don't have to do it anymore. I think they were trying to balance it around the 4-player aspect of it, but because I played solo, it just came off as annoying and just unnecessary, to be honest. When they give you side missions, there's no like back and forth. They just kind of tell you to go do it, and that's kind of it. The only missions that have some character back and forth are the main missions and safe house missions, which again are just characters talking at you, telling you to do stuff. For the main missions, the writing is just so generic and nothing crazy is happening here in both writing and exploring. For some reason, they delegate very easy tasks as the main missions. Like in most games, the main missions have some extra content or factor that separates them from basic side missions. Not in Redfall. Like, okay, for example, for context, I was told to go get a shotgun out of a trunk of a car. And at first I'm like, okay, seems like a basic fetch quest, but in the back of my mind, I thought, oh, there's gonna be something cool there, or like something crazy is gonna happen when I get there. Nope.
My father kept a shotgun. I put it in the trunk of my car. If you find it, you can have it.
You're dead. Oh, hit an explosive. Wow. Anyways.
Okay, it's over now.
I got my shotgun. I finished the mission. Mission complete. Wow, look at me. Half the mission was me walking through the empty world only to come up on a gunfight between a few humans and vampires. I killed them, got the loot, and that's it. Like, why is this a main quest? The world was just unpopulated. Not sure why this was the case, but on the off chance you do run into some enemies, it's like 5 to 6 max, and you take them out and then you're on your way. The world had absolutely no life to it, and it really sucks. With Prey, Dishonored, and Deathloop, those worlds either felt alive and responsive, or there was enough interesting material and lore to the world to make exploring something I was excited to do, or it was a mix of both. Redfall just kind of took all that and was like, nah, throw that in the garbage, because you know what we got? Oh my god, what is it? Amazing gunplay and combat design? Oh my god, thank you, at least that part is fun. Ugh, awkward. Yeah, the combat also kind of just sucks. You got two main aspects of combat, gunplay and the power system, both of which are lacking, but for different reasons. First off, the game is a shooter, a looter shooter, where the gun drop rate is frequent and you are constantly getting new and better gear to change out. Now, I don't mind a fun shooter, but it has to be unique like Borderlands 2 or Destiny 2, and this one is not. The same basic system is here, where you have tiers of weapons from white to gold and they do different things based on rarity. As you level up, you get better guns and stuff. And that's it. There's no expansion on the concept. It's just the concept is here and they're like, yep, we're good, that's it. And there's no depth to it. Again, like I said, I don't mind a fun shooter, but there has to be something to make it interesting. It's just the same old system almost every game up to this point, and I'm just so tired of it. It just has nothing to offer and just really clogs up the game. Now I have to be worried about what guns are better than other ones, what stats they buff, which ones are recyclable resources that you get when you loot the world, and they all translate to the same one resource. So like just go around, pick up random garbage, and it'll accumulate vast amounts of wealth. Which is great, I guess. I mean, I don't really know who asked for this to be in the game, but here it is for you to enjoy whether you want it or not. Shooting itself was just alright, like it doesn't do anything unique that really sets it apart. And the problem is also that a lot of the enemies are really fast, the vampires specifically. And that's not inherently bad, but it's hard to aim at an enemy who's always bobbing and weaving with no aim assist or whatever. I played this game on PC with mouse and keyboard, and I still got annoyed with the fact that I had to keep missing my shots and realigning my shots just because the enemies were not really designed for the combat system. At least that's how I felt. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know. Who cares? The biggest problem with this approach is that they took away so much from the other half of the combat system that it made the whole experience fall flat. I am not playing an Arkane game to experience the shooting. I'm playing an Arkane game to experience the power system. And the powers in this game are so boring. Like, there are 4 characters and every character has their own set of abilities. 2 regular abilities and 1 ultimate. And as a concept, this can work pretty well. But in execution, Redfall disappoints once again. Big surprise. Older Arkane games really nailed the power system. That's why most people play them. You're in an environment that encourages you to interact with the enemies and the world with unique powers that help you solve problems creatively and effectively. Redfall took that concept and said, power schmowers, you got guns to get, go out there and collect them, and they nerfed all the powers to suit a 4-player experience instead. All the powers that you would normally get on one character in a game like this are spread out amongst the 4 characters to make it more balanced. Can't have one person with too many good abilities, that wouldn't be fun, said Redfall. Yeah, well, you kind of failed. Using powers felt so unsatisfying, it just didn't really add anything crazy to the combat. They nerfed the power system so much that they wanted to A, focus on gunplay, which sucks, and B, make it more balanced for 4 players. Problem is, I didn't play this game with 4 players, and I didn't really have any desire to. And you might be wondering, why not? Just grab 3 other friends and play the game, don't be a baby about it. First off, rude. Secondly, I wouldn't want to subject any of my friends to play this game. And thirdly, like, the game should still be fun if I'm playing single player. Why is it forcing a 4-player balanced experience when I'm playing with just me? Now, all that aside, the main reason I didn't engage with this game's multiplayer is because this game has no challenge whatsoever. Like, you'll be walking around town or a dungeon or whatever, and you can just take out enemies with no issue. Look how hard the combat is here. Nearly all human enemies die in like 2 hits to the head with any gun. Pistol, shotgun, assault rifle, whatever. It does not matter. Coupled with the fact that the enemy AI in this game is stupid, this game has no difficult aspects to it, and it's embarrassing. Like, I really need y'all to understand how stupid this AI is for this game. Look at this. Look at it.
Shit! It's just making it worse. Didn't you hear the Hollow Man? Do as you're told. Don't waste ammo. No.
See what I mean? It's just so stupid. Can't shoot at you right, has no idea what to do if you decide to be a little creative. If you're standing on a box, it's just a mess. Even the boss fights are a joke. Like, okay, here I am completing a main mission, and this red lightning storm pops up, and it's like, oh no, the Rook is here. Oh, the Rook. Oh man, this must be a crazy hard fight or something, right?
I needed that. Nothing but clear.
And because they took away a lot of the depth from the power system, you can't have much fun in terms of creativity with the enemies here. Just shoot them until they die, or find a door and have them funnel into you until you kill them all. The vampires are also just bullet sponges that move really quickly. ADSing is basically useless for most guns because the enemy moves so fast, or your gun is so big on your screen you really can't see what you're doing. Let's review the combat just so everyone is up to speed here. Boring and clunky gun systems in terms of loot as well as shooting. Focus emphasis on the 4-player aspect, causing your own individual powers to be nerfed, making them unfun to use. Lame environment that doesn't really encourage creativity when fighting enemies, all tied together with the world's dumbest AI, makes for a pretty boring and terrible combat loop. The game also tries to establish this idea of exploring and how great it is to explore the town of Redfall and uncover its mysteries. And I did. I really did try to explore and look around to see some cool stuff. But like I said before, the world is just empty with a few enemies here and there at first. As I played through the game, more things like safe house missions and mini bosses did populate the world, but because of the unfun combat loop I talked about earlier, I really didn't want to do them. I still did them for the sake of the review, but my goodness, they were a chore. Go get this item, go kill this mini boss, go to this hideout, rescue hostages, etc. And for the first few, it was fine. But of course, once I started noticing how stupid and weak the enemies were to, bullets, the novelty died out very quickly. And sometimes you're punished for exploring. Yeah, imagine that. Like, I was exploring in an area and I found a mini boss and I killed them along with all their goons. Went back to the main mission line, and after about 2 or 3 main missions, they wanted me to go fight enemies and retrieve an item from that same area I fought the mini boss in. Now, conventional game design wisdom would have me believe that the area should have been repopulated with enemies to make it more of a challenge, right? But Redfall is unconventional in its process. Truly a masterclass in design. Because I went to the area before when I was out and about in the open world, the enemies just didn't repopulate, making the main mission just a walk in the park. Literally, I walked to an area, picked up the thing, and left. Because I explored and engaged with the world like the game told me to, it robbed me of my experience later on in the game, in an area the game knew I was going to come back to. Like, I don't really understand what this is. And just to be safe, I force closed the game, reloaded the game, and I went back to the same area and did the mission again just to make sure it wasn't a bug or something. No, it was consistent, so I don't know. Main missions were just meh. Side missions had a bit more thought put into them, but they get repetitive really quickly. The only missions that I actually liked were safe house missions because they had you engage with the interesting mini bosses of the world. But even then, after a couple of them, I got the idea and I moved on. They also had this weird pocket dimension full of vampires where you would go in, kill some vampires, destroy the nest, and in concept it was cool, but for some reason, the performance tanked every single time I went into one of these places. More on that in a bit, but it just was not fun. Also, this part was really frustrating. You can't pause the game. And I didn't know that until I was 5 thin minutes deep into a box and I got caught off guard and I almost choked.
Am I getting hit? Oh.
Basically what I'm saying is that Redfall almost killed me. If I was online and playing with people, sure, I get it. It's not ideal, but I understand. From Software games also have the same functionality, but in those games, it's very easy to find a safe space in the open world and you're good. In this game, if you're in the open world and you're on the menu, for some reason the enemy AI, namely vampires, seemed attracted to you when you're in that menu. I don't know what's going on under the hood, but it was very strange. It's just a lot of weird ass design decisions that really make this game a chore to play. And now finally, the bugs. This is the most buggy game I've played in a long time. The bugs varied from graphical to performance to technical. Weird lighting glitches, textures just not loading in until later, shader issues, enemy design copy pasting, particle effects displaying weird, a graphical mess. Horrible stuttering that was random and didn't matter in terms of setting presets. Enemies frozen in place, game assets popping in and out, menu freezing, a performance nightmare. Clipping issues, enemies spawning randomly, enemies despawning randomly, random buttons just not working to a point that I had to force close the game because not even the pause button functions anymore. A technical catastrophe. I got a pretty beefy rig for this game. I have a 5600X and a 3070, and for some reason my computer was on its last legs struggling to run this game. Just was not optimized at all. I have also heard that console performance is not great either, so just all around a failure on performance for some reason. This is a $70 game. $70. And this is the quality that we get. It's crazy to me that this was allowed onto the shelves. Like, does QA not exist at Bethesda or Microsoft for that matter? Gameplay and design stuff aside, the bugs that made it through to this final product is wild and needs to be highlighted. I would tell people to not buy this game based on the bugs that are present alone. It's bad product and you should never reward bad product, especially not by paying $70 for it, incentivizing them to do it again. Once they had the money, the company doesn't care what you think. You bought it. They won. Sure, the game devs might care, but unfortunately, they don't get to make the big decisions like pricing of the game and such. And if you keep buying $70 games that are broken, they're gonna say, well, people are buying it, so we can keep doing it. Everything in this game leeches off of each other to try to sell a coherent game loop, but it really does not work. Redfall really eats away at itself in every aspect, and it sucks. Arkane makes fantastic games. They aren't perfect, no game ever is, except for probably Outer Wilds, but like I said, they were still good. I really don't know what happened here, and it sucks to see that AAA bad product release affect this studio too. I know Phil Spencer came out and talked about how this game really failed to meet expectations and acknowledged the failure of the product, and that's really refreshing to see that a CEO will step up and say, hey, we messed up, let's see if we can fix it or make a better decision next time. If it wasn't already clear, do not buy this game and definitely do not support the $70 price tag this game is flaunting. I really hope Microsoft can turn it around and convince Arkane to just abandon this project and move on to the next one. Arkane said they want to make this their most supported game ever, and I really hope that's not the case anymore. It's just not worth it. No list of reasons to buy this game for this review because I just can't recommend it. This game is littered with bugs on the graphical, technical, and performance level, has a low amount of content for the price, and is not very well designed at its core. I am giving Redfall a 3 out of 10, an experience that deserves to be in the red and falls very short of any and all expectations set. I will also say to avoid this game altogether. Don't buy it on sale, don't spend any time with it, even if you have Game Pass. Just not worth it. I really wanted to like this game, but it's just not great, even with my Arkane Studios bias. I hope their next project is much better. It's funny because the next big release on Bethesda's schedule is Starfield, and I can't lie, there's a small part of me that wants it to be bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it would be awesome if the game was amazing and earns its hype, but there's a small little part of me that would really enjoy seeing it go up in flames, just to watch the spectacle. Bethesda's known for releasing buggy games and such, but if that game comes out at a $70 price point and has the same amount of bugs, oh my god, that would be so much fun to watch. If you're looking for a better way to spend your money, you can get a crazy amount of games for that $70 easily. With some pretty frequent sales, you can get the complete edition of Outer Wilds, Dishonored 1 and 2, Prey, all of which are amazing games that I highly recommend. If you're interested in what I had to say about Outer Wilds DLC, you can check out my review. If you enjoyed this review, do me a favor and subscribe. I play these games so you don't have to. Thanks and have a good one.